Our special guest, fellow Rotarian and friend, is a veteran and served in the Air Force. He's the retired board chair and CEO of a consulting engineer firm. Remember the word engineer. He joined Rotary when he was 36 years old. Remember 36? His boss told him he needed to give back to the community and would pay half his dues if he'd pay the other half, so he had skin in the game. He joined for fun and fellowship, not attendance. 7 years later, he and his wife Judy became district hospitality chairs. You can see the engineer wanted to have fun. I think it would be today called Engineers Gone Wild. He led Rotary International as president 2016 to 17. His convention in Atlanta was my first. He serves the Rotary Foundation as trustee today. Please stand and give a John Germ, past Rotary International president, biggest welcome from Columbus Rotary in District 6690.
Interesting thing. Thank you very much. Callaway's first thing was the clock's right there, so he wanted to be sure that I'd get out of here on time. But they got me on a very tight schedule, and my plane leaves at 2:20 with or without me, so we'll try to get you out of here on time. It's a pleasure to be back. I've had a lot of good connections in Ohio over the years, and have started out with pets in 2003. I think was my first visit. Then I've been back several times, and TD keeps calling me and saying, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" Well, nobody ever tells TD no. But TD is glad to see you. He just got back from his own institute over in Norfolk, Virginia, so he's doing his duty, I guess, as far as Rotary is concerned this weekend. So we miss Dory and everything. So thank you, TD, for being here. A lot of past district governors here. Thank you for coming out today. And it is clearing up. Scott and I got into discussion last night when I said that it was going to rain last night, and Scott said, "Not according to my calendar." And I said, "Scott, I think it's going to rain tonight." So Scott finally admitted he made a mistake in his life. But you know, you were 100 years old in 2012. You've got a long history of doing good work in this community. If you came in the front door out there, you saw a lot of a sheet of paper that had a lot of projects that you're currently involved in. So I congratulate you on that. But I'd like to go back a little bit in history, if I could, to 1905. Now, how many attorneys are in here? Raise your hands. Well, keep your hands up. Now, this is odd because we have 3 attorneys sitting at the same table, and they don't normally do that. And, Paul Harris was an attorney, and that's why he started. You put your hands down now. Thank you. Started Rotary. It was called the Fun and Fellowship. And I think that what you've seen in some of the announcements you've had here today about fun and fellowship. Well, last night I met a young man named David. I don't know if David is here or not. He's an architect back there in the back. And his mother was a Rotarian, but he didn't join Rotary right away. And because he didn't feel like that this was appropriate for him because he was 31 years old. Now look at the opportunity that we have missed with someone that is now a Rotarian. Not only that, he has participated in planting trees. He's participated in working with a veteran. I can't say vet because we had the cows up here, so a veteran, in order to get more involved. And I told him last night, I said, that's the fellowship. That's the fellowship when you have that sweat labor that you're out there working together. There's also the fellowship that we had here today. The fellowship of attending a luncheon and to shake hands and to meet the people and to get reacquainted and to talk about things that are common to each and every one of us. But he had a vision. And his vision, I think, was to create this great organization. And who would have ever thought that when 4 people got together, that where we would be today? Such a fantastic journey that we've been on. But I think that one club has now grown into a worldwide organization of ethical, professional men and women with vision, committed to improving humanity locally and globally, with service above self as our motto. Well, you know, he was a visionary. One too much longer than another visionary came around. He happened to be from this area. His name was Arch Klump. And in 1917 in Atlanta, Georgia, Arch Klump said we should create an endowment for doing good in the world. $26.50 started that endowment. Today, that endowment is worth over $1.2 billion. So congratulate yourself, because you've been a large part of that by your contributions to our Rotary Foundation. We've continued that growth. But do you know that as of June the 30th, we have raised and invested over $4.7 billion for programs that have lasting effects on people throughout the world. $4.7 billion. Building wash stations and toilets in India so girls can go to school. Because, you know, we know that education is the first step out of poverty. Lebanon. I was in Lebanon. Judy and I were in Lebanon. Judy didn't really want to go to Lebanon because of the safety issues and everything. So they met us at the side of the plane and took us out the side door so we didn't have to go through the concourse or anything. Took our passports and said, we'll see you later. And they took us down to this room, and there was guards there, military, and then we left, and our bags were out back. They gave us our passports back. She was in one car, I was in another car, and we don't like that. And then guards in front, guards in back, and we're driving down through the traffic and everything, and I thought, you know, if you're trying to keep me safe, if you quit blowing that stupid horn and making it look like somebody's important here, I could be a lot safer. But anyway, we did, and then we went on down to look at a project. And I really like to go visit projects and see what Rotary is doing all around the world. We're driving down, and Judy told me later, said that the lady that was in her car said, did that sign not say war zone? And the lady said, well, yeah, but that was last week. She says, isn't it amazing that you can live in a country where we have a war one time, one part of the country, the other part we don't have war? Well, when you start seeing these cans with 55-gallon drums there with bullet holes in them, you start getting a little bit nervous. But we went down to an elementary school. And out at that elementary school, they had all the elected officials out there. We stood up in front of them, and they started talking about their projects, and they started talking about how much Rotary meant to their community, even in this time of need. Here they had 1.3 million people in Beirut, but they had 1.4 million refugees. And they were so proud of what Rotary had done, though. So I said, well, let's go see the project. There's a wash station in an elementary school, trough, 8 faucets there, and all of a sudden, this Rotary up there, this water provided by a global grant from, it had the district name and everything there. So it gives you that warm feeling about what you can really do and what you really don't think about. We don't think about a lot of clean water. We'll throw away a lot of water here today, more than a lot of people have an opportunity to drink in a daytime. Went to the classroom. In the classroom, it had all these computers in there. On the back of them, there was a rotary wheel. You see, you wasn't there for that. But yeah, you were. You were there because you had made a contribution to the Rotary Foundation. And that contribution was helping educate a child, several children, right there in that school. Mexico, Heart to Heart. Greg just got back from Heart to Heart down there. He was a project that our 2 zones put together. all because of the vision of one individual. That vision was to try to do something to improve clean water and education in Mexico. That has now led to the creation of a cleft palate hospital. It has led to a cancer center in Guadalajara that is working with the University of Cleveland and the Cleveland Clinic, and also St. Jude. They've already reduced the incidence of child cancer, all because you became involved with the Rotary Foundation. You don't know how much good your money is doing. I had the opportunity to see a lot of that good. I had an opportunity to see them school children in Guadalajara when we were there, and all they wanted was some paint. Can you just imagine? All they wanted was some paint because they wanted to clean up their school. And that led to a big fight at one of the schools because the faculty wanted to paint one color, the students wanted to paint another color, the parents wanted something else. So I became the chief negotiator. And I said, I don't understand this. I don't speak Spanish, so I'm going to use an interpreter. But you got 10 days to either paint this school or I'm taking the paint back. I don't know what I was going to do with it. But let me tell you, they got the message. Now then, they got this nice, clean school, painted beautiful colors, trees painted on the walls, all because you became involved with the Rotary Foundation. And yes, this is Foundation Month, but really every day is Foundation Day because it's through those projects like that. It's through this project with the cows. And Mimi, stand back up. You did a fantastic job with that. So. And there again, vision. Can we do something? Well, I was familiar with Heifer International. And Heifer International partners with Rotary clubs all around the world. And all of a sudden we got into conversation last night about needing a vet. And I said, well, wait a minute, we could do something. Have you talked to Heifer International? Well, John, your incoming president, had been to Little Rock to a large club conference, and he had seen what that Heifer International headquarters was. And so now they were trying to make a connection there. And then your governor 2 years from now all of a sudden has a connection over at the vet school. So that's the things that Rotary does because we take a vision and we make it become reality. So thank you for all that hard work because it does tie into our 6 areas of focus, don't it? To promote peace, fight disease, provide clean water, save mothers and children, support education, and grow local economies. Last year, we had probably one of our better years, the Rotary Foundation. We had a goal of $360 million, and we raised $414.7. But here's the important thing. 1,300 global grants, $86.5 million we gave out last year in global grants. District grants, we had 530 district grants at $28.3 million. Polio Plus, we gave out grants of $157 million last year. We couldn't have done that if it hadn't been for your support, your hard work, and your continued support of our Rotary Foundation. Well, this year we have 3 priorities I'd like to talk just a little bit about. I can't even see this clock, so you're going to have to raise your hand up here once in a while. Don't hurt my shoulder, though. A visionary by the name of Sir Clem Renoff in 1979 read that smallpox, and many of you know this history, had been eradicated and wanted to know if there was something like that we could do at Rotary to help get Rotary on a worldwide basis. Because up until then, Rotary had only worked in their local communities, had not really done worldwide projects. So the answer came back from a guy named Dr. John Sever, who is still on the International Polio Plus Committee today. He knew Dr. Sabin, and they said, yes, there is, we can eradicate polio. $760,000 from a health, hunger, and humanity grant started on this journey to eradicate polio. The first project was in the Philippines in 1979, and Jim Bomar from Shelbyville, Tennessee was the president at that time. Putting 2 drops into a child's mouth. That's all it took. Why did they pick the Philippines? Because a man named Benny Santos. It's isolated. It could be proved that they could do it. In 1982, the World Health Assembly said, we're not going to take this on. There should not be any one vaccine that we're administering. Well, did that stop Rotary? No. 1985, and you heard just a few minutes ago, 85, 88, we raised $247 million on a goal of $120 million. Again, this club played a major role in that. You saw the need. Do you realize that in 1956, the number one fear in the United States of America was nuclear war? The number 2 fear was polio, and yet we knew what it could do. People my age, a lot of the people in this room, couldn't go to the public swimming pool. You couldn't play with your next door neighbor, all because they were afraid you would get polio. But you gave your money. You may not have been there to help put those 2 drops in that child's mouth, or to hear Jim Bomar tell the story about how when he was doing that there was a tug at his pant leg. He didn't want to look down because he didn't want to spill that medicine. But when he got through, he looked down, and that was a crawler, arms around him, pulling on his pant leg, said, thank you, mister. That's my sister. She will not be crippled as I am. He was really saying, thank you, Columbus Rotarians, because you got involved. You didn't know those children in the Philippines, but yet you were there to help. Then came along this opportunity in 1985, 1,000 cases a day, 125 countries. And where are we today? 27 cases, 3 countries. Afghanistan, 19 cases. Pakistan, 8 cases. Nigeria, 0 cases since the 20th of August of 2016. On the verge. There's a picture back there with me with my hands up wide. Well, that's the reason, so you can get the words in between here this close. We're actually this close. The polio virus is a very vicious virus. Very vicious. It's resilient. But I think that Rotary is more resilient. I think that Rotary can do a better job and will continue until we eradicate polio. Well, we have eradicated over 2.5 billion children. We have spent over $1.8 billion through Rotary. And if you were in Atlanta, you saw that we had gotten governments of the world, because another part that Rotary plays is to advocate for the governments of the world to help put money into this campaign. And they, in fact, pledged $1.2 billion for this campaign. From a project that started out that thought you could do it for $120 million, we've spent $1.8 billion. We're spending $900 million per year. So a lot of people say, why are you still spending $900 million a year? It's real simple. We have to provide vaccine to over 400 million children every year. We have to provide surveillance in 72 different countries around this world to be sure that we can eradicate this vicious disease. Rotary had a blessing that came around in November of 2007. A man that has more money than all but 6 countries in the entire world sent $100 million to the Rotary Foundation. There was 2 conditions to this. Number 1, that money had to be spent by December the 31st of 2008. Number 2, they wanted us to raise $100 million by June the 30th of 2010. Now you tell me who would have that much confidence in Rotary that would say, I trust you, I believe in you. If you say you will do it, you will in fact do it. We didn't have a campaign. We didn't have a campaign chairman. We didn't have a plan, but we did it. We took on that $100 million challenge. And then halfway through that campaign, this same individual said, I'll give you 255 more million if you'll raise another 100 million. Well, I wasn't going to tell Bill Gates no. So we took that on. But he extended it till June of 2012. We made it by January of 2012, and he gave us a $50 million bonus. I asked Bill in New York one time, I said, Bill, why did you give that money to Rotary? You could have given it to WHO, you could have given it to UNICEF, you could have given it direct to the countries that are involved. And he said, I gave the money to Rotary because Rotary has the passion. Rotary has the stewardship. Rotary knows how to spend money effectively and efficiently. And you are committed. Well, I thought he meant committed to jail or something, the insane asylum. But he has that confidence. We have a current agreement, that you may know about, for $50 million from 2017 through 2020. If we do $50 million a year, he will give us $100 million. He has never given anybody that kind of a match before in his life, 2-to-1. We're not going to make it by 2020. So we've now negotiated a new agreement that's not been made public yet. We've signed a new agreement with him for another $50 million for 3 more years through 2023, because we wanted to know that our partners were going to be there with us, that we are going to be able to finish this job. And with your help, we can finish this job. Now I have a challenge for you. You know, we're asking clubs to give at least $1,500 a year. Well, that's peanuts for this club. We're asking districts to give 20% of their DDF, and they're doing that. But we got an excellent opportunity. How many of you know Jack Nicklaus? Only part of you don't know Jack Nicklaus? You better raise that hand. I'll come and get you. You're doing all this peace work. You better talk about Jack Nicklaus. On March the 12th, in Jupiter, Florida, Jack Nicklaus is going to play golf with 12 individuals. 4 rounds, 6 holes with one group, 6 holes with another, 6. And it just cost you $250,000 to play in that. Now, I'm sure that this club can get $250,000 to have a drawing for somebody to represent this club to go play in that tournament.
I'd be happy to play.
I have the first volunteer to help raise the $250,000. Well, that's our number 1 priority, and I've got about 2 minutes to tell you that our number 2 priority is to spend all of the DDF that's out there in the world. We have a lot of DDF left over. Your district is spending that DDF with Peace Scholars and things, so you're on the way of spending that DDF. Foundations didn't get the money. People, Rotarians don't give money to the foundation for it to be sitting in a bank account. So let's spend that money. The third priority is to create this endowment to $2,025,000 by the year 2025. We can do it. We've got one of the top-rated foundations in the world. We just received our 4-star rating for the 11th year from Charity Navigator. Congratulations, you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you for the opportunity to let me be with you, and I must leave to catch an airplane. So thank you very much.
This is on our Rotary website. For those in other Rotary clubs, if you'd like to show today's speech, go to the columbusrotary.org website. You have the link there. You can pull it up, leverage this visit today. We extend the invitation to the whole district. We're so happy for all of you who are able to make it today under beautiful skies in Columbus, Ohio. Not raining, right, Scott? We thank John so much for making a difference, and we bless him with safe travels. Nelson French, just raise your hand. You've been popping up a lot today. Just raise it. Nelson made an individual contribution for $1,000 during this Polio Plus fall campaign, and we appreciate that. As Nelson, while district governor 30 years ago, led that effort that he shared and continues to lead by example. Thank you, Nelson. Next Monday's program is on climate change. Certainly not an issue in Columbus this year. With no spring and no fall, just 2 seasons now, i.e. winter and summer. If you want to learn more about climate change, is it a myth or a reality? It's next Monday, November 26th. Remember to wear your fat pants on for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. The invocation today was so good. Gratitude. And go Bucks.